Welcome to this week's Pilates. This week we're going to be working on our neck and back, so just trying to get things moving, free things up through the neck and back, and just trying to loosen us up if we're a bit tight through that whole kind of spinal area. So we're going to start off just a little bit of posture work. So bring your feet together and come up nice and tall. We're going to go toes out, heels out, so that our feet are hip width apart. And then we're going to think about just having that equal weight through the forefoot and the hindfoot. So just in that position, gently take weight forward through the toes. You don't have to lift the heels, but just taking the weight forward and then taking the weight backwards through the heels. So just feeling that weight transfer one way and the other. We're going to come to that midpoint, soft knees, and then lengthen up through the legs. Just make sure you've got equal weight through left leg and right leg. Come back to that central point. So from there, we're going to think about that pelvis. So we're going to imagine you've got your pelvis is a big bowl, marble at the bottom, and you're just going to roll that marble forwards and backwards. And as you do that, as you roll forwards, you arch through that lower back, and as you roll backwards, you lengthen down through the back. So again, go forwards and backwards, and just feel how far you can go in either direction. And one might feel a bit stiff, the other one might feel quite comfortable, might be a little bit sore if you get to the end of a stiff section. We're going to come to that midpoint, halfway between both. So you imagine that marble at the bottom of the bowl, just sat right at the bottom. And then from there, keep those kneecaps soft. We're going to think about lengthening through the spine. So when you think about lengthening through the back, through the mid-spine, between the shoulder blades, lengthen through the neck, back of the neck, crown of the head, all the way up. And then from there, we're just going to loosen off through shoulders. So I'm going to get you to some really big exaggerated circles through the shoulders. So we're going to go shoulders towards ears, squeeze the shoulder blades back together. Imagine you've got a pencil in between your shoulder blades, you're squeezing together, and then gliding those shoulder blades down away from your ears, and then shortening the collarbones, bringing the shoulders together at the front. So up, back, down, forward, up, back, down, forward. Good. One more in that direction. Up, back, down, and forward. And then I'm going to go the other way. So we're going to go down, back, up, forward. Good. Down, back, up, forward. Two more times. Down, back, up, forward. Last one, down, together, up, and forward. Good. And then from there, I'm just going to get you to gently lift those shoulders up, squeeze the shoulder blades together, so you're just widening through the collarbones, then drop those shoulders away from your ears. And you're imagining that your shoulder blade is coming across towards your opposite bottom cheek on either side. So just gently widening through the front and pulling those shoulder blades down towards opposite bottom cheek and back. When you do that, just make sure you don't lean back this way. It's just the shoulder blades, not extending through the spine. Okay, so from there, we're just going to do some nice just thoracic spine opening to start with. So I'm going to get you to engage through the core muscles by pulling up through the pelvic floor, in through the belly button. We're going to bring both arms out in front of us. Keep the shoulders down, collarbones wide, and then you're going to breathe in as you open one arm out wide. And then breathing out, coming hands together. Keep the pelvis really nice and still. Breathing in, open the arm up wide. Breathing out, coming back. Breathing in, keep the pelvis still. And out as you come through to the front. Good. Breathing in, and out as you come back. Good. Keep the pelvis still. Breathing in as you open up. Out as you close back through. One more on either side, keeping the pelvis still. Keep those shoulders down away from your ears, core switched on, pelvis nice and neutral. And then we're going to move the pelvis as well. So as you open up, allow the hips, the pelvis to twist. Your feet stay still, opening all the way through. Back to the centre, back through the other way. Twist through the pelvis. You're opening all the way through the spine. Breathing in. Breathing out, breathing in, and out. Good, one more on side. Rotate through the whole spine, pelvis, legs a little bit as well. Good. Relax those arms down, just having to loosen off through the arms. Good. And then from there, when you still think about that posture, I'm going to stand sideways again, so still think about that posture, feet hip width apart, soft knees, pelvis nice and neutral. Lengthen through the spine, so lengthen through the back of the spine, back of the neck, crown of the head. Shoulders up, back, gently down as they're going towards opposite bottom cheek. And then from here, we're going to do a single arm circle. So we're going to just start, bend the knees, bring a big circle round on that right side, and then lengthen up. Same on the other side, bend the knees, big circle round, and then come back up. Good. And again, you're allowed to twist through the pelvis. Nice big circle. Opening up through the shoulders, through the spine. Big circle round. Good. Keep those shoulders down away from your ears, core switched on. Good, let's do one more on either side. Good, well done, and relax off. Good, okay, so from there I'm going to get you to bring this, keep the feet hip width apart, soft knees, pelvis nice and neutral. I'm going to get you to interlink your fingers. I want you to imagine you're going to make a big circle. So from your hands, forearms, elbows, across your chest, back through the other arm. You're going to interlink your fingers. And you're going to try and take that elbows as wide as you can. So if you kind of got this big circle that you're making, is it more of a hexagon, isn't it? But we're trying to imagining you're coming as wide as you can with the elbows, but also taking the hands forward away from your chest. You should feel that that opens up through the back of the shoulder blades. So really opening up through the shoulder blades, trying to push the hands forward, elbows wide. Take some nice deep breaths in there. Try and relax the shoulders away from your ears. Good. And then from there, I'm going to get you to turn the palms out, lengthen the hands, lengthen the arms. And then from there, you're going to just bend the knees, take the hands up towards the ceiling, nice straight arms. Take the hands, palms up towards the ceiling, but drop those shoulders away from your ears. Try and open up through the whole spine, lengthen through the spine, lengthen through the neck, and then gently relaxing those arms through. And then we're going to interlink the hands behind us. So from there, just think about bringing the shoulder blades together, lengthen through the arms, take the hands down towards the floor, and it should just feel like you're opening up through the front of the chest. So nice deep breaths in there. Again, keep those shoulders down away from your ears. And then from there, I'm going to get you to just lean forward, bend your knees, lean forward, take your hands up in the direction of the ceiling, just as far as you feel comfortable going. So leaning forward, soft knees, hands towards the ceiling, and you should just feel it stretching through the front of the arms, through the front of the chest. Try and keep the shoulders away from your ears. One more nice big breath in there, and then soften the knees. Bring your hands down to your bottom and gently come up nice and tall. Just loosen off through the fingers, allow your hands to come by your side. Good, you should just feel like that's opened up through the shoulders. Then we're going to come into our roll down. So keep those feet hip width apart, soft knees, arch and hollow, find that nice neutral position through the lower back. Lengthen through the spine, through the back of the neck, shoulders down and back. And we're going to think about each vertebrae roll moving one at a time. So we're going to engage through the core muscles, pulling up through the pelvic floor, in through the belly button. You're going to tuck your chin into your neck. So as though you're going to hold a pen in between your neck and your chin. And then we're going to roll down. Chin comes down, past the neck, down towards your chest. Keep those shoulders away from your ears to start with. You should feel that opening up through the back of the neck. And then you're going to keep rolling down. So you're going to sink that breastbone deep into the rib cage. Allow those collarbones to shorten, shoulder blades to come out to the side of the rib cage. You're going to keep the pelvis up tall for as long as possible. Opening up through the spine. Just work within your comfort as you're doing this. Keep the core switched on. Keep that pelvis neutral for as long as possible. When you can't go any further, then start to tip the pelvis forward. And again, just go as far as you feel comfortable going. So if your hands are at your knees, that's absolutely fine. And as you come up, we're going to imagine you've got a tail. Tuck it between your legs. So really get those bottom muscles fired up, pulling the pelvis up tall. Then we're going to stack the spine, one vertebrae at a time. And then as that breastbone lifts, open up through the collarbone, shoulders down and back, lengthen through the back of the neck, crown of the head. And again, so really focusing on each vertebrae, moving one at a time. Tuck chin into neck, roll that chin down the front of the neck towards the chest. Collarbone shorten, breastbone sinks down into the spine, into the body. Keep the pelvis up tall for as long as possible. Rolling through the spine, core stays switched on, and tipping through the pelvis, coming down into that forward fold, then stacking up pelvis first. Remember to keep breathing. Tuck that pelvis down, stack up through the spine, one vertebrae at a time. You come back up, open up through the collarbones, lengthen through the back of the neck, crown of the head. Let's do one more. Rolling down, chin to chest. Through the spine, one vertebrae at a time. Shorten through the collarbone. Sink that breastbone deep into the rib cage. Keep the pelvis up tall for as long as possible. Roll through the spine. Keep breathing. And then coming forward. Good. And then stacking up, tailbone first. So really think, bring that pelvis up tall, and then stacking up one vertebrae at a time, through the spine. Breastbone lifts, collarbones wide, and shoulder blades come down towards the opposite bottom cheek. Lengthen through the back of the neck, crown of the head. Good, well done. Okay, and then from there we're going to come down onto the mat. So when you come down onto the mat, we're going to just make sure that your feet are in line with your knees and hips. So you've got a straight line between all of those joints, making sure your feet aren't together or too wide, or one side and one in the middle. Just make sure you're nice and aligned. And then from there, just support yourself down onto the mat. Good. And from there, we're just going to get a little bit, so we're not going to load the spine too much today. We're just going to start getting a bit of movement through the spine. So I just want you to align properly. So making sure those feet are in line with knees, hips and shoulders. Head down onto the mat, but lengthen through the back of the neck. You should just have enough room to kind of tuck a tennis ball in between your chin and your chest. So you're not lifting chin up towards the ceiling. You're not tucking chin down towards your neck. You've got a nice long back of the neck. And then fit tennis ball in between chin and chest. We're going to glide those shoulder blades down away from your ears. So if you need to lift yourself up onto your elbows, to bring those shoulder blades down away from your ears, collarbones nice and wide. And then from there, just lift your bottom up and lower it back down onto the mat, and that should just lengthen out through the spine. And I want you to imagine directly underneath your belly button, between your spine and the mat, is a marshmallow. And directly underneath your breastbone, between the spine and mat, is a 2p coin. And I just want you to start with, to squash down onto that marshmallow, onto that 2p coin. So you're increasing the pressure down onto the mat. You'll feel like your tailbone will start to lift off of the mat, but you're not going to lift any further. You're just squashing down using those tummy muscles. And then we're going to go the other way. So we're going to lift that breastbone away from that 2p coin, lift that belly button away. So you're lifting off that marshmallow. The bottom stays in contact, shoulder stays in contact. You feel that arches through the lower back, so you can just glide your fingers underneath, lengthens through the tummy. So we're going to squash back down onto that marshmallow 2p coin, and then lift up and away. Squash back down. And again, this might feel a bit stiff or a bit stuck, but it's not loaded, and there's a nice gentle movement through the spine. So this kind of movement, especially if you wake up in the night with a stiff spine, it's quite a nice movement just to try and get that lower back moving and free, because everything gets a bit locked up and a bit stuck, and if you can just gently arch and hollow and loosen off through that lower back. And then I want you to come down at least halfway onto that marshmallow, maybe a little bit more if you know you tend to arch through that lower back. And make sure underneath that breastbone, your spine's in contact with that 2p coin. I'm going to get you to just pop your hands onto your pelvis, those bony bits at the front of your pelvis there. We're going to keep them as still as possible, keep the same pressure through that marshmallow, that 2p coin. And we're just going to come into hip twist level 1. So I'm going to get you to take a breath in. As you breathe out, we're just going to take one knee out to the side. Keep the other knee still, keep the pelvis nice and still. Breathe in, bring that knee back to the center. Breathe out, come out to the other side. Breathe in, come back to the center. So we're going to alternate side to side, keeping that same pressure on that marshmallow, that 2p coin, keeping those hip bones at the front of the pelvis really nice and still. Breathing out as you open one knee up, breathing in as you come back. Good. Breathing out, in as you come back. Good. Let's just to fire up those core muscles a little bit. Good. Breathing out as you open one knee up, foot stays on the mat, breathing in, come back. Let's do one more on either side. Good, last one. And then I'm going to get you to come back up to the center, bring the feet together, bring the knees together, and just, if you're comfortable to, walk those feet slightly closer towards your bottom. And I'm going to get you to bring your arms out wide, so your shoulders stay flat onto the mat. And we're going to just gently keep those core muscles engaged. And we're going to make sure you're not arching through the lower back, but you will, obviously the back will move off of the mat. But we're going to just gently roll both knees across to one side. Your shoulders stay flat onto the mat. And you should feel like that opens up through the back, maybe through the outside of the hip, maybe through the front of the chest, depending on where you're tight. Take a couple of nice deep breaths in there, just to feel that stretch through the spine. You can look away from your knees as well, and that will just open up that rotation a bit more. And then gently with control, so think about keeping those core muscles switched on, pull that belly button in towards your spine. I'm going to control the knees to the center. And then I'm going to roll them to the other side, look away from your knees, keep the shoulders flat. If your knees only come they don't come all the way to the floor, that's absolutely fine. Go with what you feel comfortable doing, but it just opens up the joints in the back. And the side you're moving away from, it will work that side. So if your knees are rolling over to the right, you'll open up the left side of the spine. Those joints in between each vertebrae will open up, and sometimes they can just get a bit stuck together if everything's a bit stiff and stuck through there. So keep the core muscles engaged, pull that belly button in towards your spine, pelvic floor up as you control the knees back. And then we're just going to do the same again, but we're going to work the shoulders a little bit harder. So from going arms out wide, you're going to bend the elbows to 90 degrees. So you've got kind of almost like a cactus position or a W position through arms and head. And then we're going to, so that will open up through pecs a little bit more through the front of the chest. We're going to roll the knees over to that first side again, just as far as you feel able to go. And take some nice deep breaths in there, feeling that stretch. And everyone might feel it somewhere different. So you might feel it through the front of the shoulder, you might feel it through the spine, through the outside of the hip. But just gently breathe into it, allow your body to feel that stretch and relax into that stretch. Good. One more nice big breath in there. And then with control, core switched on, we're going to roll the knees back to the center. Keep the elbows bent to 90. Roll the knees across to the other direction. Again, you should, with the elbow bent to 90, feel that stretch a bit more through the front of the chest. Nice big deep breaths in there. one more nice deep breath in. Think about keeping the core muscles switched on as you control the knees back to the centre. Good. Bring the arms back down by your side. And then we're just going to work on trying to bend the spine a little bit more. So bring your feet nice and close to your bottom. Lift your bottom up and lower back down again. If you need to, just reset through shoulders, allowing those shoulders to snuggle down away from the ears, neck nice and long. I'm going to imagine that marshmallow directly underneath belly button between spine and mat. 2 pins point directly underneath breastbone between spine and mat. And then we're going to think about lifting. You're going to imagine the spine. Each vertebrae is one pearl on a string of pearls. So imagine that string of pearls laying down where your back is. I'm going to try and move each of them one at a time. So we're going to engage through the core muscles. We're going to take a breath in. As you breathe out, I want you to squash down onto that marshmallow like we did at the start when we came down onto the mat. You'll feel your coccyx and your sacrum start to peel up off of the mat, and you're going to shorten through the tummy muscles and carry on peeling that spine up off of the mat. Now it might be you just do a really little bit and then you come back down onto the mat again, one vertebra at a time. Or if you're comfortable to, you can peel up one vertebra at a time, lifting through. Shorten through those tummy muscles, lengthen through the spine, squeeze through the bottom. Don't arch through the lower back, so make sure you just drop that breastbone down towards the mat gently, because I don't want you arching through the lower back or feeling it in your back. And then as you come down, you're going to drop breastbone down to that 2 pence coin first. Keep that bottom lifted, shorten through the tummy, and then one vertebra at a time, one pearl at a time, down onto the spine. Onto the mat, spine onto the mat, until you come back down again. So imagine each vertebrae one at a time, one pearl. You're going to squash the marshmallow, tailbone lifts up, so that coccyx, sacrum lifts up, shorten through the tummy, peel one vertebra at a time up off of the mat, hips stay level, don't lift too high, you shouldn't be feeling it in your lower back, bottom and tummy working, and then lower down, breastbone first, shorten through the tummy, and then feel one vertebra at a time coming back down onto the mat. Now if you feel a bit stiff and stuck, or it comes down in one kind of block of movement, then you need to just break it down and find that movement. So this is another really nice one to get you moving first thing in the morning or last thing at night. If you're feeling a bit stiff, then just getting that little peel up and peel down. And if you're stuck, if it's stiff all the way down the bottom, just work on that little movement down at the bottom. If you're stuck a bit further up, then work into that stiffness and try and really feel each vertebrae one at a time. You should feel like you're shortening through the tummy, squeezing through the bottom, and then controlling back down. That's another one that you can kind of just add in excuse me, to that kind of daily exercises to get those moving. Good, well done. Okay, so we're going to roll onto our side. Protect your back as you come up, and we're going to come up onto all fours. So we're going to just come knees underneath hips, hands underneath shoulders, or maybe just slightly in front with the hands. And we're going to come into cat-cow. So nice long spine to begin with, core switched on, so you're pulling up through the pelvic floor, in through the belly button. And then we're going to drop chin to chest. We're going to lift up through the breastbone, lift up through the belly button, and then I want you to imagine you've got a tail and you're going to tuck it between your legs. So you're going to imagine almost that you're bringing that tailbone and the nose together. And then we're going to lengthen all the way out again. And then we're going to lift the tailbone, lower belly button, lower breastbone, and look forward. And then we're going to tuck down, chin to chest. Lift up through the breastbone, lift up through the belly button, curl through. The dog wants to join us. I'm sorry for his barking. He wants to join us and I've blocked him off. Lower through the belly button, lower through the breastbone, look forward, lift the tailbone. Good. And then one more time in each direction. Tuck chin down to chest, lift the breastbone, lift the belly button. Imagine you've got a tail, tuck it between your legs, curl through the spine. And then lengthen through, lower the belly button, lower the breastbone, look forward, open up through the front. Good, well done. And then lengthen through the spine again. Now those big circles we did with the shoulder blades at the beginning when we were in standing, we're going to have a go in this position. Now it's quite hard to get that kind of circle movement of the shoulder blades in this position. So if you want to stand and have your hands against the wall and do them against the wall, you can do them instead. If that's still hard or sore, you can just do big circles through the shoulders in sitting or in standing. So if you're comfortable to, let's try it on all fours, but if you want to move, then change position and do so. Just make sure that pelvis is nice and neutral, shoulders away from your ears, and just push the breastbone up to begin with. And then from there, you're going to take your shoulders up towards your ears. And then we're going to push your breastbone away from the mat and lift your back kind of between your shoulder blades up towards the ceiling, and those shoulder blades will come forward. And then we're going to glide those shoulder blades down your back, away from your ears, so you're almost going towards the opposite bottom cheek. And then you're going to squeeze those shoulder blades together. So shoulders up towards ears, push the breastbone away from the mat, lift that back between the shoulder blades up towards the ceiling, and then glide those shoulder blades down towards the opposite bottom cheek, and then squeeze the shoulder blades together. And again, shoulders up towards ears, push yourself away from the mat, lift that back body up towards the ceiling, and then glide those shoulder blades down towards your bottom cheeks, and then squeeze the shoulder blades together. One more time, up towards your ears, push away from the mat, shoulders down towards opposite bottom cheek, and then squeeze the shoulder blades together. Good, well done. So that's quite hard work, but it's just thinking, have a little break if you need to, have a little rest of your hands or a little stretch out. It's quite hard to get that individual movement through the shoulder blades, but it's really important to get the movement through the shoulder blades to help everything function properly through your neck and your shoulders, and even through lower back and glutes as well. So those shoulder circles are really important, and try and add them. So if you've been sat at a desk all day, you can just do some circles, just loosening off in sitting, or as I say, hands on wall is slightly less load, hands on floor is just a bit more load, but it's nice if you can start to build up that muscle, those muscles patterning through that movement. Good, so from here we're just going to have a little go opening up through this, the spine, in this position. So we're going to just gently sit back onto your heels. And from there, I'm going to get you to walk your fingertips forward and drop your forehead and breastbone down towards the mat. And I want you to place all your fingertips and thumb tips on the mat and lift your palm away, your palms up away from the mat. So you're arching through the hands, and you should feel that that just stretches and opens up through the shoulders, through the back. Take some nice deep breaths in there. Good. And then gently come up back onto all fours. We're going to walk the hands across to the right side of the mat. So your fingers are facing off this side of the mat. And then we're going to do the same thing. Sit back onto your heels, forehead down towards the mat. And as you do that, you should open up through the left side of the body. So you're keeping your bottom down towards your heels, but opening up through the left side of the body. And again, some nice deep breaths in there. One more nice deep breath in, and then we're going to gently come back up and walk the hands through to the centre, and then across to the left side of the mat, so your fingertips are off the left side of the mat. We're going to sit back onto our heels and open up through the right side of the body. Some nice deep breaths in there. One more nice deep breath in, and then we're going to gently come back up onto all fours through to the centre, and then from there we're just going to do a couple of thread the needles just to mobilise through that mid spine. So nice and long through the spine, shoulders away from your ears, push that breastbone away from the mat gently. Then thread your left arm underneath your right and just bring shoulder near towards the mat, coming back up and then across to the other side, breathing out, breathing in as you come up onto all fours. Good. Breathing out and in as you come back up. Just opening up through the spine. Keep the core switched on. Let's do one more to either side. Good, well done. And then from there, I'm just going to get you to come into sitting. So you can sit on the floor, you can sit on a chair. I don't mind, just get yourself comfortable so that you've got equal weight through both sitting bones. I'm going to really think about stacking that spine up really nice and tall. So you're making sure that you've got your pelvis and equal weight through the sitting bones. Lengthen up through the spine, lengthen up between the shoulder blades, through the back of the neck, crown of the head. And then from there, I just want you to gently bring shoulders up, back, and down, and just imagine, just relax the shoulders down, imagine your elbows to be really heavy and just lengthening through the neck. And then from there I'm going to get you to just take chin down to chest and just opens up through the upper back. Keeping those elbows heavy, we're going to keep the chin on the chest and take your ear to your shoulder on the left side. So you're opening up through the right side of the neck. Couple of nice deep breaths in there. Think about lowering the shoulder away from your ear, so it will want to come up. You're going to keep the elbows down, open up through the neck. And then gently roll that roll your chin back to the centre, and then you're going to keep that chin down to your chest and roll your ear towards your left shoulder, your right shoulder, sorry. So across to the other side. Keeping the left shoulder down, nice deep breaths, so that chin stays down to your chest, your ear to your shoulder on your right. And then back through to the centre. And then look forward, just stack up from the base of the spine up nice and tall. Make sure you're not lifting your chin up, lengthen through the back of the neck. Good. And then from there, keeping your shoulders down, you're just going to gently look over one shoulder. You're staying up nice and tall through the spine, just gently looking to one side. Breath in as you breathe out, keep those shoulders relaxed down away from your ears. Good, gently coming back through to the centre and across to the other side. And gently back to the centre. And then from there, we're just going to go ear to shoulder. So we go ear to shoulder on your right. Keep that left shoulder down. And you can either just hold that stretch, or if you want to increase it, you can just gently use your arm. Don't pull with your arm, but just gently rest your hand onto your head. And that should just use the weight of the arm to gently increase that stretch down through the left side. Keep that spine up nice and tall, shoulders away from your ears. Gently relax off that side. We're going to go the same to the other side, ear to shoulder on the left. If you want to, you can gently bring the hand onto the head and just allow the weight of the arm to increase that stretch through the right side. Keep that shoulder down. Good. And then gently come back up. I just want to do a couple of circles with the shoulders. And then I just want you to draw a circle with your nose. So look up towards the ceiling, just gently, and then circle around, drawing a circle just as big as you're comfortable going. So everyone's going to be slightly different on how they feel their neck can tolerate it. Just a couple of circles in either direction, just to loosen up through the neck, and then back the other way. Keep those shoulder blades down. And don't mind if you can hear the neck a little bit, but it shouldn't be painful. Good. And then come back through to the centre, loosen off through the shoulders. Just take a couple of nice breaths in there for me. Good, well done. And hopefully that's just helped to loosen off through neck, shoulders, and through the back as well, just to keep everything moving and keep everything loose. Good, well done. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you soon. Bye.